Hello and welcome to this week's Positive Recovery with Corinna, being made for www.sobertownpodcast.com, where there are lots of great podcasts and fantastic information on everything sobriety. It is your one-stop sobriety shop, and also my YouTube channel, Positive Recovery with Corinna. So I'm just going to dip into my cookie jar and see what we're going to be talking about today, and it is ways to tell people you are not drinking anymore. That's a tricky one, isn't it? And we all have a different way of dealing with this because it is our own journey. As I've said many times before, there are guides. There is guides to stopping drinking. There are lots of people that have gone before us who can give us lots and lots of support. And this is why I say it's great to have a community. And my community is the I Am Sober community. It's a great free app where you will get lots of wonderful support and advice from people who have already walked in your shoes. So there is a lot of guidance on how to quit drinking, but there are no hard and fast rules because it is our journey. Nobody else's. And we need to do it in the way that's right for us. For me, I was loud and proud because I continually said to people, right, that's it, I'm giving up drinking. And my husband at the time, my son, would roll their eyes in the back of their head and go, yeah, okay, because I'd said it so many times before. But for me, I then found the I Am Sober app. And from that moment, that is it, I'm stopping drinking. And it's got a counter on it, so you can do the counter and you can see how many days you are sober. So every time I met somebody, I was saying, well, I am a week sober, or I am 2 weeks sober, and I was doing it loud and proud. And for me, that kept me sober because I'd started saying it not just to my husband at the time and my son, but to the world at large. I was telling everybody. And for me then, it meant that I would have to go back on my word if I suddenly started drinking or revert to old patterns of sneaking drinks in when I wasn't supposed to be. So for me, that's what worked. But for different people, different things will work. I know some people who have written to people in emails or letters to tell them that they are no longer drinking. And as we get sober, there may be ways, there will be things that we need to forgive people for or apologise for and forgive ourselves for. And sometimes within those apologies, we could sort of describe, the fact that we were drinking at the time and that we've now quit drinking. So we could do it in the form of an apology or in looking for forgiveness from people. I remember my good friend Shicky saying to me that, when he first went out drinking, he just wouldn't be drinking. And people would say to him, well, what's it like? How does it feel not drinking? And he'd look at them and say, well, how does it feel for you to be drinking? And just revert it back to them. It can be really difficult, though, in this world where drinking is the norm. It is the norm, isn't it? And actually we're frowned upon if we're not drinking. And I've had people say to me before, when I was drinking and I'd got too drunk, and I'd say to people, or they were going to the bar, and I'd say, I just want water. And they go, water? I'm not getting you water. And I remember Craig Beck saying in his book that he said to one of his friends he'd just have a Coke, and they said, a Coke? What, are you gay or something? And it was laughable how actually his sexual preference had changed just because he didn't want to have an alcoholic drink. I was in a bar the other day and there was a couple of youngsters in there, and they had decided that they were going to have soft drinks, and they were in a big group. And people were jeering at them because they were having a soft drink, and the girl was having to make an excuse. Well, I'm driving, I can't have any more. And the boy actually asked for a JD and Coke without the JD because it was almost like sinful for them to just be asking for a soft drink. So we can make up excuses if we want, or we can just be loud and proud and just say, I've quit alcohol, it doesn't suit me. Or you could say something like, well, I tried dry January and I liked it so much that I just decided I don't want to drink again, or I want to not drink for a little bit longer, or I'm dieting, or you could always just be the driver at any event that you're going along to. It really is an individual thing. It's something, that I can't really tell you how to tell people that you're not drinking anymore. It's about what feels right for you. I think I was loud and proud though, because if I started making up excuses for my not drinking, and it's almost like I was in denial still and lying to myself, and I needed to be free and open. I needed to get away from that deceit and the lying, and I needed to just get it out there and make people aware. And it led to some really good conversations. We were due to have a school reunion of a few friends, and that meet quite regularly, at least once a year, sometimes 2-3 times a year. And a couple of the lads in there, they would sneak vodkas and that in your drink. So I had to sort of let them know that I had quit drinking and that I would not be drinking. A lot of the girls knew because I meet more regularly with them. And I had really interesting conversations with them. And one of them, Rick, was my best friend from school. If you've listened to my story, he was the one that saved me at school and kept me in the school, really. But he did not know. He did not know that I had a problem with alcohol. And it led to a really good conversation with him. And the other guy, Rob, as well, I spoke to him about it. And yeah, they were really both proud of me. And see, a lot of people, my really good friends, did not know, because you cover it and you disguise it so well. And the people that do know, the people that sometimes then try and talk you out of quitting it or telling you you haven't got a problem, and that's because they are your drinking buddies and they don't want to lose the drinking buddy. So we will get some resistance, and that is the problem, that if we don't tell people that we've had a problem with alcohol, when we just say, I'm having a little bit of a break, or I'm trying without alcohol, is those people will still try to encourage you and sabotage that, because they've lost their drinking buddy and they want their drinking buddy back. So you might not get the support so much from people than if you say to them, look, I've got a problem, or I've realised I have a problem with alcohol and realised that alcohol and I don't mix. I've heard people say, I'm allergic to alcohol. And, many of us have had drinks that I used to say, yes, I love red wine, but it doesn't like me. Because it would make me really horrible. I've thrown glasses at walls. I've just completely lost the plot. I've held a knife to my wrist before on red wine, because that's how it makes me feel. And so I don't drink, or I didn't drink red wine. But really, it was just alcohol per se. So we can say that alcohol and I just don't agree. Or we could be honest and say, I'm fed up with hangovers. I'm fed up with feeling sick. I'm fed up with not being here. I'm fed up with numbing my feelings and not living in the now. And I've decided that that's where I want to be. I've decided that I want to deal with all the stuff inside of me and find a new, brighter and happier future. And people will see, eventually people will see the change in us. Others might still try to sabotage, because there's a lot of jealousy out there and people may still want that too. But I'm just going to finish with the lighthouse analogy, which I absolutely love, because this is what we can just hope for in our own sobriety. Okay, so honesty is the best policy for me. So I just had to pause you there to fire up my laptop. I don't want you to think that I remember this off by heart, because I don't. But this is what we can hopefully aspire to become. So we can firstly need to find our own lighthouse, and hopefully this is what we will become too. And this is the lighthouse analogy. Consider a lighthouse. It stands on the shore with its beckoning light, guiding ships safely into the harbour. The lighthouse can't uproot itself, wade out in the water, grab the ship by the stern and say, listen, you fool, if you stay on this path, you will break up on the rocks. No, the ship has some responsibility for its own destiny. It can choose to be guided by the light in the lighthouse, or it can go its own way. The lighthouse is not responsible for the ship's decisions. All it can do is be the best lighthouse it knows how to be. And that is what we are, lighthouses. That's what we can strive to be. So maybe if we can just look at our sobriety as a way of showing others how great it truly is. And you know what? Sobriety is becoming the new trendy. So we're ahead of the game. Anyway, have a great day. Have a great week. Not another drop, no matter what. And I'll catch you again real soon. Take care for now. Bye-bye.